Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. I'm literally so thrilled to have you here today because, well, we're looking at something incredibly powerful. Think about it. Most of us living in the West spend our entire lives chasing one specific thing. More. We want more food, more productivity, more stimulation. We're just constantly striving to add something extra to our plates, right? But Japan, they do something completely different. And it's not about better genes or having some kind of superhuman willpower. It's actually just about different habits. So today, we're going to explore 9 of these habits that pave the way for a longer, calmer life.
So on one side, we see the results of our constant hustle. We chase more, but ironically, we kind of end up with less. Less sleep, less peace, less time to just, breathe. But by applying different, and by the way, entirely free, habits, Japan sees incredible results that are honestly hard to ignore. We're talking about the longest life expectancy on Earth, remarkably low obesity rates, and significantly lower anxiety than most industrialized nations.
Okay, let's dive into this. I want you to picture a scenario. It's 11 p.m. You're tired, but somehow you're still totally wired. You're lying in bed, but you're definitely not sleeping. You're just scrolling on your phone, maybe half watching something in the background. Your body is practically begging for rest, but your mind? Yeah, your mind simply won't stop racing. Look, we have all been there. But imagine a different version of that exact same night. The same you, the same life, but your body feels entirely calm. Your mind is quiet, and sleep just arrives naturally. That calmer version of you doesn't require more discipline. It just requires moving through your day a little bit differently. Section 1, Nourishing the Body. Rethinking how we consume. To get to that calmer state, we first need to look at how we actually fuel ourselves. It turns out that a couple of very subtle shifts in how we approach our meals can dramatically alter how our bodies feel and process stress. Our first habit is hara hachibu. Basically, this is the simple practice of eating until you're about 80% full. Now, why 80%? Well, it's actually a brilliant biological hack. You see, your brain takes about 20 minutes to actually recognize that you've eaten enough. This means that if you wait until you feel completely stuffed to put your fork down, you've already overeaten. And here's why that 80% rule matters so much. When you stop before you're completely full, you naturally arrive at full satisfaction just a little bit later as your brain kind of catches up. And the numbers really speak for themselves here. Okinawans, who traditionally practice hara hachibu, consume around 1,900 calories a day on average. On the flip side, the average American diet is nearly double that amount. The physical hunger signal in the human body is exactly the same, but because of this one little habit, the outcome is completely different.
Which leads us right into habit number 2, mokushoku. This translates to the practice of eating in silence. Think about it. Most of us eat while we're completely distracted, right? We're watching a video, we're scrolling our feeds, or we're stressing about work. But when you do that, your brain doesn't fully register the meal you're having. Eating in silence, focusing just on the food itself, honestly changes everything. It makes you hyper-aware of your hunger and fullness cues, which reduces the chance of overeating and makes the whole experience just so much more satisfying.
Section 2, the power of pause and rest. Finding value in quiet moments. So much of our modern anxiety comes from fighting our natural rhythms. These next few habits are all about leaning into those rhythms and finding genuine value in quiet moments. Habit 3 is Shinrin-yoku, which is often translated as forest bathing. Now, just to be clear, this is not about going on some massive, strenuous hike. It's simply about being present in nature without your devices. When you're out among trees, they actually release natural compounds into the air. And when you breathe them in during a quiet walk, studies show your body responds in measurable ways. It shifts you entirely out of a stress state and literally supports your immune system. Even just sitting quietly in a local park with no phone and no noise can trigger this amazing biological reset. Habit 4 brings us right back to that 11 p.m. restless night we talked about earlier. This is ofuro, the evening bath ritual. In Japan, a bath isn't just about hygiene. It's a dedicated time to relax the body. And there is real science here. A hot soak at night raises your core body temperature. When you step out of the bath, your temperature drops quickly. And that rapid temperature drop acts like a biological switch for your brain, telling it that it's time to sleep. It's a beautifully simple habit that research shows actually helps you fall asleep faster and dramatically improves your sleep quality. Habit 5 is perhaps the hardest one for us in the West. It's masa, the art of doing nothing. I want you to really think about the last time you truly did nothing at all. No background TV, no podcasts, no scrolling, just empty space.
In Japanese culture, this gap between moments is deeply valued, and guys, your brain desperately needs it. It's during these totally distraction-free pauses that your mind actually processes complex emotions, consolidates your memories, and generates your best ideas. Instead of frantically filling every single second, we really need to protect these empty moments.
And hey, speaking of rest, habit 6 is inamuri, the micro nap. I absolutely love this one because it completely reframes how we view sleep during the day. In the West, napping is so often judged as laziness. But that afternoon drop in energy you feel, that isn't a character flaw. It's a biological reality. Inamuri is all about working with your body's natural rhythm instead of just trying to push through it with, massive cups of coffee. And this brilliantly illustrates the timeline of a successful micronap. At 0 minutes, you hit that inevitable afternoon wall. But if you just give in to a quick 15 to 20 minutes of rest with inamuri, you emerge on the other side with restored energy. It's a quick, incredibly effective reset that significantly improves your focus and actually makes the entire rest of your day far more productive. Section 3, reframing the mind, shifting our perspective on progress and purpose. Now that we've nourished the body and embraced rest, we arrive at how these Japanese habits can completely shift our perspective on daily purpose, progress, and our frankly exhausting pursuit of perfection. This brings us to habit 7, ikigai. Now, ikigai is your daily sense of purpose. But listen, it doesn't have to be some grand, overwhelming life mission that just stresses you out. It's really just a simple, low-pressure question you ask yourself before you even get out of bed. What makes today worth doing? Just one single reason to engage with the day ahead. And the real beauty of this habit comes down to the number 10. It takes less than 10 seconds to answer that question every morning. Yet research strongly indicates that people who establish this quick, daily sense of purpose experience lower stress levels, better overall health, and ultimately, longer lifespans. 10 seconds for a longer life? That is an absolutely incredible return on investment.
Moving on, habit 8 is kaizen, which roughly translates to getting 1% better each day. Look, we all know the feeling of trying to make a massive life change, right? Only for it to completely fail because it just feels too overwhelming. Kaizen bypasses that entirely. By focusing on tiny, manageable improvements, you eliminate the mental resistance that usually stops you dead in your tracks.
Focusing on just a 1% improvement might seem totally insignificant in the moment. Like, what's 1% really gonna do? But these micro changes build incredible momentum over time. They compound steadily, eventually turning into massive, sustainable progress without the burnout you get from dramatic overnight transformations. It's really all about steady consistency. And that brings us to our 9th and final habit, wabi-sabi. This is the profound idea of finding beauty and value in imperfection. So many of us walk around carrying this exhausting belief that we'll finally be happy once everything in our lives is perfectly aligned. But wabi-sabi offers a completely different lens. It teaches us to see the immense value in things that are incomplete, imperfect, or just temporary. So, the crucial point to remember here is that acceptance is one of the strongest predictors of long-term well-being. Modern psychology entirely backs up this ancient concept of wabi-sabi. It proves that actively accepting life exactly as it is, with all of its flaws and bumps and messy parts, is actually far better for your health and your mind than the constant exhausting striving for perfection. Section 4. Start with just one. You don't need to do everything at once. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground today, looking at 9 distinct habits. And I want to be very, very clear right now. Please do not feel overwhelmed by this. You absolutely do not need to become a completely different person today, and you definitely don't need to start all 9 of these habits tomorrow morning. I want to draw your attention to this quote from our source material today because it perfectly captures the whole essence of this explainer. Meaningful change doesn't come from doing everything at once. It comes from doing one thing consistently. Seriously, none of the habits we discussed today cost any money. They just ask for a slightly different kind of attention to the routines and environments you already have. So I want to leave you with this final, hopefully provocative thought. Out of everything we've looked at today, from hara hachibu and ikigai to simply finding a moment of silence, which habit feels closest to your natural rhythm? Chances are, one of these stood out to you as something familiar, maybe something you might already be doing a little bit. Just pick that one. Start there. Because small habits can shape an entire culture, and they can absolutely shape your life too. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I literally can't wait to explore our next topic with you.